The wind howled outside the old kindergarten, rattling the cracked windows of the decrepit building. For years, no one had dared enter its shadowy halls. It had been abandoned long ago, and yet the air seemed to hum with a forgotten energy, a lingering presence that kept curious visitors at bay. But among the local legends, one story stood out above all others: the story of Bitter Giggle, the forgotten mascot with two faces. Bitter Giggle had once been the main attraction at the garten of Banban, a beloved toy designed to entertain children with his bizarre dual nature. His face was split into two halves, one side painted with a wide, cheerful grin, the other with a deep, sorrowful frown. His personality mirrored this strange design, one half filled with boundless joy, while the other drowned in eternal sadness. The children had loved him, laughing at his goofy antics and comforting his sad side with hugs and kind words. But no one realized how real the conflict inside him was. After the kindergarten closed its doors, Bitter Giggle had been left behind, along with all the other forgotten toys. At first he had waited for the children to return, his cheerful side whispering promises of laughter and fun. But days turned to weeks, then months, and no one came back. His happy side grew weaker, overshadowed by the sadness that gnawed at his mind. Loneliness became his only companion. One night, a group of teenagers, Mia, Ethan, and Leo, decided to explore the abandoned building. They had heard the rumors, the whispered tales of Bitter Giggle's haunting presence, but they didn't believe in ghosts or cursed toys. Armed with flashlights and bravado, they forced open the rusty front doors and stepped inside. The air inside was thick, heavy with dust and decay. Every step they took seemed to echo down the long, empty halls. Posters of cartoonish characters, now faded and torn, lined the walls, reminders of the kindergarten's happier days. But the deeper they ventured, the more the atmosphere shifted. It felt like something was watching them. "Are you guys sure about this?" Mia whispered, her voice barely audible in the dark. She clutched her flashlight tightly, scanning the shadows. "It's just an old building," Ethan muttered, trying to sound brave. "Nothing here but dust and—" His words trailed off as they rounded a corner and entered the playroom. There, in the center of the room, sat Bitter Giggle. His brightly colored clothes were now faded and torn, his once vibrant face a disturbing reminder of what he had once been. His half-smile gleamed eerily in the dim light, while his sad half seemed to droop even lower, as though weighed down by years of neglect. "That's him," Leo whispered, taking a step back. "Bitter Giggle." For a moment no one moved. The room was still, almost too quiet. Then without warning, Bitter Giggle's head jerked to the side, his black and white eyes locking onto them. His voice, a strange mixture of two overlapping tones, echoed through the room. "Why don't you laugh? Or cry with me?" The teens froze in place. Mia felt her heart pound in her chest as Bitter Giggle slowly stood up. His movements were jerky, like a puppet on invisible strings. His happy side took control first, his smile widening unnaturally. "Let's play," the cheerful voice chirped. "I've missed you." But then his other side took over, and his smile vanished, replaced by a deep frown. The sad voice was soft, almost pleading. "Or maybe you'll leave me, just like they did." The temperature in the room seemed to drop, and the friends could feel the weight of his sorrow, as though it was pressing down on them. Ethan took a step back, pulling Mia with him. "We should go," he whispered, his voice shaking. But Bitter Giggle wasn't done. He took a step closer, his laughter growing more manic as his happy side surged forward again. "Come back," Let's laugh. Don't you want to have fun? Don't leave me." The teens bolted, running down the hallway as Bitter Giggle's footsteps echoed behind them, slow but relentless. His voice followed them, switching between laughter and desperate sobs. "Stay with me. I don't want to be alone. You promised to play with me." They found themselves in the main auditorium, the largest room in the building. The doors behind them slammed shut, and they were trapped. Bitter Giggle's footsteps grew louder, closer. The laughter and sobbing filled the room, suffocating them with a mix of twisted emotions. Leo ran to the far corner, trying to find a way out. "We're stuck," he yelled. "There's no way out." Mia turned back to face the door, her heart racing. Bitter Giggle appeared in the doorway, his split face flickering between joy and sorrow. His voice, now softer, whispered through the air, "I don't want to be alone anymore."